Hi there! Welcome back to Four Towers Films and another episode of A Writer's Life. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about character development. Okay, when you think of your characters, and this is important before you really even start writing and possibly even before you even plan out your outline of your book, is what kind of characters do you want in your story? Think about the books that you like to read. And then think about the characters. What makes them popular? What do you relate to about them? A really good character is someone that even if they're a villain, there's something about them you yourself can relate to. You'll either really hate them, or you'll really love them, or you'll really love to hate them. So really what it's about is creating characters that are three-dimensional. So like real people. How you do that is take your character, say your main one, your hero. Is he a good person? There are some heroes, main characters in books that you could kind of think of anti-heroes, like for example Catcher in the Rye. He's not necessarily a well-loved character in the book, but he tells the story well, and it makes sense through his viewpoint because of the kind of character he is and how he's lived his life, and he's able to convey that to you or to the reader. So you take your main character, your hero, let's say. Is he generous? Think of traits that you want him to have. For example, is he generous? For example, is he generous with his time? Does he help out at charities? Or is he there for his friends? Is he generous monetarily? Is he rich? Is he poor? That sort of thing. Is he the kind of person who would give up his seat on a bus to, a disabled or an elderly person? Then think of, does he have a lot of friends? Why do those friends like him? Is he funny? Does he have a good sense of humor? Is he shy? Or does he have anger issues? You take different traits and that go kind of well together and then put them into your character. It's the same thing with a villain. A way to think of any character is they're not all good and they're not all bad. If you really want them to be realistic, you have to think of real human traits to give them. Now, look at even your villain characters. For example, Dracula. If you really break down that character, there's reasons he did what he did. There's a vulnerability there, so there's layers to him. If you read the more modern tellings of it, it was because of a lost love. He was heartbroken, and so he did whatever he could to make others pay for what had happened to his love. Same thing with a lot of other characters. So, if you make a character, especially a villain, one-dimensional, they're going to kind of come across as flat. Now think of movies or even books that you've read where the character's a good villain, but they're not really carrying the story that well, and you're kind of like, yeah, okay, I really believe that. Well, it's probably because the writers didn't maybe do such a good job at portraying what that character was like, making them well-rounded, three-dimensional. Yes, even if a character is, say, moody or brooding, that sort of thing, like, for example, the character of Bella in Twilight was written as more of a kind of a morose, almost brooding kind of character, was responsible and that sort of thing, but that broodingness came across a lot, and it was one of the reasons some people didn't necessarily like the character, relate well to her. Now, granted, there are people who may be like that, but it doesn't necessarily make for an enjoyable character if you don't really like that kind of a person or a character to read. It's hard to read for them. And that's why you'll get people who do and don't like specific characters in books. Now, if you want that character to be your hero and be able to carry the story, you need to kind of give them more traits than just say, melancholy or whatnot. you can do that. Like, think about people in your life, family members or friends. What traits do you like about them? What makes them popular? What makes them not popular? Take those kind of traits from them, or even from yourself, like intelligence, or, if they're shy, or they're introverted, or they're outgoing, and splice them together in a way that will mesh well. Like, what's realistic? What would an introverted person say, go dance up a storm at a party? Well, they might have had some drinks or something like that, but you're going to actually build your character in ways that would make sense that they would do the things they do. It's important when you're writing your character to make them kind of as realistic as you can, even if it's a science fiction fantasy novel or a horror, like a Jason kind of character, to make them somewhat believable, and one that you either want to read or be friends with, or you want to find out if they're going to get caught, kind of thing. They have to be pretty compelling. So even if you put them into a dystopian world, they need to be somewhat believable, so that and one that your readers are going to want to read. Like, what would you yourself want to spend time with? Create a character that you yourself will like, or who you'd want to be friends with, or you want to learn more about. Like, if it's a killer, for example, why did they do what they do? Like, why are they a killer? Do they have motivations? And give them motivations that are engaging, that make sense to them. It could be, were they abused as a child? Do they have a mental illness? Are they a psychopath? That sort of thing. Because then your readers can understand and engage with them. And maybe, I can see where they're coming from, or why they might do the things that they do. One thing a lot of writers make a mistake of when they're first developing characters is writing somebody who's absolutely perfect. Well, nobody's perfect, so make them have flaws. Like, are they rude? Do they have anger issues? That sort of thing. So make them not so perfect that people just can't relate to them at all. That's all for today. Thank you for watching my video, and hope you come back for more of the series. I upload 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where I typically live stream with Doug218. You can come join us and ask questions live, or ask me questions live about whatever you'd like to know about writing or anything else that I upload. I sometimes upload randomly during the week too, so don't forget to like and comment below. And how would you develop your characters? Any suggestions or tips that you'd like to give to readers, or to other writers? Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button so you know the next time that I upload. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.